Hello. Hi.
What's happening with you, right?
Turn yourself around. You're sideways. There we
There?
go.
There.
Hi.
You alright?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, grand.
How are you finding isolation?
I haven't got isolated too much, really. I run a construction company, so I'm out and about doing jobs most of the time.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest with you, I'm more tired than I've been in months because there's no one else, cutting about. So you're all getting me to do prices and do jobs that I wouldn't usually get, I don't think.
No, wait. So this is a side view that I did not know existed.
Yeah, yeah. I started it back in August, named after my late father, and Uh, I'd wanted to do it for a long time, and just I got the cash together to be able to really go for it. Like,
Is it difficult to have, we'll say, a regular job alongside being a professional fighter?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I run a company, so I get to tell everyone the hours. You know what I mean? So I I leave them on the job and go training and stuff. But it is stressful because you just get the phone calls all times a day, and yeah, you just got to try and balance it.
Definitely. Balance is key, I think, for everything in
Yeah,
life.
without shit. Well, if even when I'm just boxing, you can go too hard on the training. You can not spend enough time with the family. You got to balance
Mm.
everything.
So, I mean, obviously, with the quarantine and coronavirus, all of the events are off. Sports
Hmm.
is like on pause.
Oh,
What
it's
would you
killing
have?
me. No football is
I tell
killing
you
me.
what. Oh, well, who do you support?
Liverpool. My mum's a Scouser, so I'm like staunch red.
No
Like,
way.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I mean, no sports is like there is a good element in that. I think a lot of people are revisiting
yeah,
like
yeah,
classic sports moments, classic fights, that kind of
yeah.
thing. So,
The MTK the classic fight series and stuff. They're doing all that, and they're doing a load of like articles on the boxing history and stuff. And I
mm.
mean, I've enjoyed reading them. They've been great.
They're always really, really good. I think that's one of the pluses of having such a good team that does the social, that this
They
stuff
got
just
they got to
continuously.
keep them busy, innit?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure they're all like sat in the office being like, what are we going to talk about next? Like, what the hell
Yeah,
are we going to put out? But
definitely,
it's
definitely.
it's good. It's good. So would you have had anything scheduled for now?
I did. Well, I tore. We don't know if it's a ligament or a ligament in my elbow and something in my shoulder as well. Just before I was scheduled to fight Darren Surtees in,
Hmm.
I can't remember what date it was. I think it was in March. So I had to pull out of that. But I think the next one they had penned me in for was June time, end of June. So there's still a vague possibility that could happen. So
Hmm.
I am trying to cut about training, but I haven't been able to go to get my MRI scans because they've cancelled all the operations and stuff. So, operations procedures. So I'm just being really tentative with my punching now. I'm only doing one or two a week, just doing cardio fitness between.
Hmm. So I think, that it's still up in the air. One, when the events will be back, but two, when they'll allow audiences or crowds to gather. So there is a conversation happening at the moment, not just in boxing, but throughout all combat sports about, this closed arena,
Yeah,
TV deals and stuff like that. How does that sit with you?
yeah. Well, a friend of mine, Mason Jones on the MMA, he just won
Mm.
a world title. Cage Warriors world title behind closed doors, and he still seemed to enjoy it. So I don't think that's gonna, as long as they got some sort of title or whatever, it ain't gonna bother me. But I think those shows might even turn out better. You don't know, because if
Mm.
there's no ticket sale deals, then there's probably going to be no journeyman boxing on those shows. So you could have
Mm.
massive 50-50 fights, that have to pull in the viewers. So it could be really good for the sport. And I've just reading all the time about the clamour there is for these big fights to happen. So it could be really good for us.
I think as well, like obviously sucks that there might not be an audience there. The energy of the night, the walkout and
Yeah.
stuff like that will be a little bit different. But I think at this stage, like people would pay to watch cats fighting, you know?
But if you go to the international tournaments, that you could hear a pin drop in some of those
Yeah.
stadiums, it's best when you can hear the coaches, you can hear them screaming,
Yeah.
telling players what to do. And there's a couple of football games in the Italian league that will play behind closed doors, and it's interesting to hear what the coaches are shouting, and also it brings a different dynamic again.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. So let's look back on, I suppose, your career. How did you get into boxing? What was the
Uh,
path?
um, since professional boxing started, my family been doing it, so I got like 4 generations of fighting.
Wow.
Yeah, there's my great grandfather's pro record on there. I think there's one fight of his father's pro record on there, and my father's pro record, all on box rec. And then yeah, I guess it's in your blood, in it. But I never wanted to
Mm.
do it. But when I was about 12, my brother went down to the local boxing club in Pontypool, and he had a problem with some travellers down there. He called for his big brother to come get man. I wouldn't have been able to do anything. I was a big fat, I was a little fat fluff, like I couldn't do nothing. But yeah, it's just I have never stopped really.
So what are some of your earliest memories in terms of being surrounded by boxing before you started, like at a young age, with your family members that were fighting?
Yeah, there's my dad had long retired, like 10 years maybe. But we went. Used to go down to his gym, which actually isn't far from my gym now, but it had never been an amateur gym. They just had pros and stuff in there. There's an old manager called Jack Evans. He used to manage the fighters from around here. And yeah, they used to go up Gethley Gear and spar with all the people up there. I think he sparred with Johnny Owen and stuff when he was a bit younger and that. So he'd been around a while, and I just remember going to that gym and like the sweaty smell and that you never like as a kid, and
Yeah.
the old bags and the roof falling in and that. But I go back there now and it brings loads of memories back. I've actually got a little video about like 5 minutes of me and my brother hitting the bags in there at 4 and 5. So that's nice.
That's such a nice memory to have, or to have to look back on.
Yeah, yeah. That was mad for the camera, like for periods of time. So
Yeah.
we've got like 4 to 5. We've got loads of little videos, and then you won't see us again until we're 10.
Can you remember understanding what your dad was doing?
No,
Like, no, you didn't realize at all.
no, no. I'd
Mm.
imagine the only thing I can compare it to is being like around the traveling kids who were just brought up fighting. They were
Yeah.
just brought up thinking that's a normal thing. My dad was a bouncer on the weekends, so all I heard was fighting stories from that. So yeah, fighting's always been in my life. Like it's nothing shocks me.
So would he have encouraged you to get into it, or was it something that naturally happened?
Yeah, it naturally happened basically, but he always wanted us to do it, I think. But when we got older, then he was the first one to tell us to pack it in because we were out drinking or hanging around with women, and he'd tell
Don't
us,
blame the women. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah, I know, but you gotta point your finger at something, and he was just trying to push us away from it all the time, or never forced
Mm.
us into it. But I think he did almost all my amateur corners apart from the internationals and stuff. So
Mm.
he's always a part of my career. But my brother, he tended to get a little more nervous off, probably just because he was a year younger than me. And
Yeah.
after about 5, 10 fights, it was clear he couldn't do Connor's corner because he just gets too nervous. But I think he just didn't mind watching my nose get flatter. Connor's nose, he didn't mind getting flat.
So how long did your amateur career last?
12 to 22, so just under 10 years, I think.
Wow, it's a long
Mm-hmm.
time, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I had my first fight at 13, but I was, like I say, been going for like 18 months before I got a fight because my coach was he's a national coach of the Welsh team and he's really good, and he never put anyone in until they were proper ready. So he took his time, and he could have easily thrown me in, knowing my family's history, and I know my father
Yeah,
had a reputation and stuff. He could have easily thrown us in after a couple of months, but he wanted to get it right, and I won a Welsh title in my fifth fight, so I think he did okay.
absolutely. When you remember that time, competing at amateur, what was the reason that you fought? Was it competition? Was it
Yeah,
for
yeah.
to make something of yourself? Was it to represent your country? Like, where did
I'm
it sit with you?
so proud representing Wales. That's
Mm.
without a doubt proudest moment in the ring. I think I'm really competitive in a lot of things, and I'm really laid back in a lot of things. So it's hard to say it's all down to the competition, but I love getting trophies and medals. I like it. Even now, I'm like a big kid. Money doesn't bother me in the slightest. I just want belts. I want to fill that up. I want more
Yes.
trophies in there. I want more of them. So I'm really not asked about anything like you can call me what you want, yeah, but the numbers don't lie. You know,
Yeah.
I got loads of titles that I won as an amateur. I say loads. I got a bunch of titles I won as an amateur that I'm so proud of, and you know, I wouldn't trade a second of it.
Is there a proudest one?
Probably the one as a senior champion, because it was around the same weight as my dad won it. He won it light middle. I won it a welter. You know, there's only 2 kilo difference. And my brother was in the corner for me as well through that tournament. And it was only a year after my dad passed, so that was probably the proudest moment. I was celebrating before the decision was even called, because I'd given the boys standing counts in the last round, and the referee was telling me to calm down. I thought, easy for you to say, man. You're like 68. I'm 21 winning the national title.
So then, I mean, when you win those titles, and there's like all this, heritage and history that goes into it, and the pride, like you said, was it at that stage then that you were like, "Do you know what, let's go pro, let's try and really do something here"?
Thought about it, yeah. Definitely thought about it, and I'd long been pushed into doing it, because I'd entered the seniors 3 times at that point. I think it was my third time. I got a bad decision in the semi-finals, and then I got a terrible decision in the finals the year before, the year my dad died, so that cut me out. I could have gone to the Commonwealths. I missed out to Fred Evans, who didn't end up competing, but he was in the team. You know, so I can't complain about missing out to a Olympic silver medalist, but that could have been my year, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And then I couldn't replicate it the year after. I got a bad decision in the semi-finals again, and I just felt like there was new management coming in with the Welsh team, and it was probably, I could have stayed on. I think I'd have done more as an amateur. I think I'd have won more international medals and maybe a British title or something. But I felt like my shelf life was a little bit lower than others because of like problems with my ankle and stuff. I didn't know how long I'd end up having in the sport with the pain and that. So I did make the decision to go pro, and I made a couple of mistakes at the start of that as well. But I think I got on the right track now.
When you say mistakes, can you
Uh,
divulge?
tried to commit with my manager, who was dipping his toe in. Well, not dipping his toe in, but getting his toe out, getting his last toe out. He was a nice guy, really great guy, Paul Boyce, but he wasn't. His heart wasn't in it anymore. I didn't really want to go with some of the other managers around here, because I did bad things and I didn't want to be tied down. And I'm really stubborn as well. I like to be the keeper of my own destiny type of thing. And the one I really wanted to go with at the time was Gary Lockett, but he had problems with Blackwell around the same time, and I don't think he was interested in having any sort of come forward fighter. And he was a little bit, anybody very much obviously shook up by that. So he'd have been my preference. I went a long way round, but I ended up going with MTK. So I don't care now.
Well, I think it was a safe bet. It was a good bet anyway. You ended up with the right team, but
Definitely.
I mean, it's because I actually just realized the other night that 80% of the people that I've done or interviewed live since quarantine are all MTK
MTK
fighters.
guys, it's the biggest team in the world.
I was like, someone has to write me a check soon. You know what I mean? But it is the case of that. It's just just so happens that the guys and the girls who are kind of on the pulse of everything at the moment are MTK signed fighters. So
100%. Anyone, it sounds daft saying anyone worth talking to, but because there's so many interesting stories out there. But
yeah,
all the big names, I'd say, and all the you look at the super lightweight division, right? In Britain, I think 13 of the top 15 are all MTK guys. So all you got to do is do 15 interviews with that division. You're going to have also
yeah.
MTK. So, yeah.
Absolutely. But it's a very interesting conversation, I find, because, I work in media. I have no input in boxing management or combat sports management whatsoever. But I get so many messages from fighters being like, can you help me? Can you
Yeah,
advise me? Do you know? And I'm like, I'm totally the wrong person to ask. I haven't got a clue. Should you
yeah.
be taking that fight, or should you fighting that person, you know?
Yeah, it's difficult. I've done it myself. I'm always asking people what they think and things. And like you said, you almost on my character. I'll go with whatever I think is best anyway. But I'm not a stupid character. I wouldn't just say
Mm,
without an educated opinion, So I've asked people who lawyers. I've asked friends what their opinions are. But I think everyone's always trying to get their leg up type of thing. So
yeah.
if you're seen in a picture with a certain promoter or doing a video with a certain promoter, you're going to see a young boxer, someone a bit younger than myself, say, "Lydia, can you hook me up with him?" You know what I mean? So you're
And
always
I'm
trying
like,
to find
yes,
that angle.
fill
Yeah.
an envelope, and I will. No problem at all.
Yeah. Couple of winners and you'll be in there.
Yeah, no problem at all, mate. Couple pints of Guinness. No
Ah,
bother, we'll sort that
yeah,
right
well,
out.
definitely. If that's the case, I'll send the money over now.
But it's like, so how did you kind of get yourself through that time? Obviously, like, now everything's fine. You have MTK, a trusted management company, and your career is going from strength to strength. But during that time, because it's very easy for someone to come in and say, "Oh, I can get you this, I can get you that, we can do this together." Like, how do you know? How do you navigate it properly?
Yeah, I tried trusting another manager in between my first one and MTK, and he was no good either. He made false promises and stuff, but
Mm,
it's all self-confidence, man. I had a draw and a loss in my first two, and I shouldn't have had those decisions in either of them. I didn't make. There was fights. One of my first 5 fights, I actually ended up paying a couple of quid to fight on, and I didn't get paid for like 4 of my first 5 fights. The only one I got paid for was when I was in the away corner and didn't realize
mm.
just how rotten the decisions can be when you're in the away corner. So I and it goes to show, as soon as I started boxing in Wales again, because I tried going like Western Supermare, Bristol area, just for into England a little bit, didn't think it would matter. And then as soon as I started boxing in Wales again, in like 5 fights, I didn't lose one round of boxing. So, it's just things you learn as you go through, and
Mm.
self-confidence got me through because I know how good I am. I know what I can do. There's nothing stopping me going on further, and I just need the opportunities and the chances, which our
Abs-
MTK are definitely trying to give me.
when you look at the career that you want for yourself in terms
Yeah.
of goals, the experiences, making a name for yourself, like, what is it that you want to be able to say at the end of the day? Like, where do you want to sit in terms of being a professional fighter?
I'd like to be appreciated. I got
Mm,
an award for a fight that I lost, a Welsh title welterweight fight that I lost, and that award means loads to me because it's a board of people who voted for me to get it. I'd like to personally, I'd like to win an international title, European title, something like that. I think that's maybe my level, but you don't know with good matchmaking, and I just want people to look back in a couple of years after I finish. Go, well, I wish he was still fighting because he's entertaining. I'd like that.
who was the most, or who had the biggest impact on your career to date?
Um, the biggest impact. I'd probably say my coach Lyndon. His belief in me is like on another world, man. I sound self-confident. He does not give a shit. He'll watch a video of, I don't know, some absolutely class boxer, and you go, yeah, there's holes in him. You can pick him up. You can, he just, his attitude is boxes at a high level as an amateur, and the boys I'm boxing now, he says they're not on your level.
Mm.
He knows how good I can be. Watches me in the gym, and his self belief in me is something that helps me. So.
Like, I imagine that's a very important element to have it as part of your team.
Yeah,
Someone who believes in you as much as you believe in yourself.
100%, and it's not blind faith because Lyndon says exactly what he thinks. He doesn't really care if it upsets anyone. He's so laid back. He might as well be let down, but he is. He's really sound, and if he thought for a second I'd be out my depth, then he would. But the majority of the fights I get offered, he says, "Oh, I look like something better than I feel." You know? So it's a good place to be.
What's the biggest lesson that you've learned in your career that you can kind of take into everyday life?
Um, to, I suppose take things as it comes. Don't get too set on one thing, because it'll only take a second for a lot of things to change. I mean, my November 22nd last year. In September, I was boxing on the undercard of like a build-up show in Cardiff, and then 2 weeks later, I'm boxing on a main card for Sky Sports. So, little things can change, and I try and take that into my life, my business, everything.
Does the preparation change from, the camp
From
to the night before, the amount of sleep that you get? Like, does it change from being on, we'll say, a regional show to knowing that you're going to be on Sky Sports and you're going to have all these eyes looking at you?
For me, yeah, but that was my poor mindset. It shouldn't really. I
Mm,
know it shouldn't really. Came at a weird time for me, because I had, like I said, I only started the business in August. I wasn't really expecting anything, and it was a poor attitude from myself. But
mm,
learn from it again. It didn't. I'd always my amateur coach, Lyndon's brother. He always said that no matter what happened, I turn up and give 100% of the night, and I did 100% give everything out. But that one I was underprepared for, and there's no real excuse for that.
Do you have to learn to let that go? When you have, we'll say, had a bad night, or you've done something, made a choice in your career that you feel is the wrong decision or wrong action. Do you
Yeah,
have to just learn to let it go?
yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I still thought I won the fight, in with no
Mm,
shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. Punch stats tell you that I landed like 100 more punches than a man, but I could see why a judge would have given it the other way.
yeah.
But I just don't agree with it. It's not how I'd score boxing. So, um, I can be blasé about it. Like I am sometimes, but you got to use it for fueling the fire. Last
Hmm.
time I lost a fight was for the Welsh welterweight title, and my next fight I won the super lightweight version of it. So, I didn't lose this one. I got a draw in it. So next time you put me on Sky now, I'm gonna knock the kid out.
Yeah. But we see there's a conversation that happens quite regularly about the scorecards and judging and refereeing in boxing, not even just boxing, in combat sports in general.
Yeah.
If you had someone pulled you into the boardroom meeting in the morning and were like, okay, Kieran, how do we fix this? Or what's your opinion on how we can change this going forward? Would you make any changes, or what would they be?
I'm a traditionalist, so I'd say consistency is the main key. If you've got
Hmm.
shit judges for the past 100 years, you might as well keep shit judges for the next 100 years. But I saw an interesting thing on Twitter earlier with Sonny Edwards. He said, what would a rule change be that you'd have in boxing? He said 13th round instead of a draw. So I could have given 120% in that 13th round, or 11th round against Ofori. So yeah, that would be a nice little change, maybe. Bit of a ding
Yeah,
dong for like 3 minutes.
that extra round would kind of separate the men from the boys, I imagine.
Definitely. Having to stand there for 5 minutes, wait till the score's read out, and then get back in it. Oh, I couldn't even imagine after one or two of my fights, but yeah, it'd be
Maybe
interesting.
we should get Sonny to make that into like a proper, some kind of
He's
voting thing where we
hey,
can actually take it and
he's
run
on a
with
video game now. He is big time.
it. So when we were talking before, you mentioned about this book.
Yeah.
Talk to me about it. Very
Um,
interesting.
yeah. I wrote a book which I don't think many boxers actually do themselves. There's loads of autobiographies and stuff out there, but
Mm.
um, people think it's not so I've not even lived half my life at home. But what it is I started out as like a literary exercise because I enjoy literature, and I started writing a bit of a structure to it, chapter headings and things like that, and
Mm.
then basically backfilled them. And it just went along. I got to about 10,000 words, I think it was, and I thought I really like what I've written, but it's not enough substance there. And I was getting all my books out, and I was measuring like how many pages, and they were only coming out like this. And then I said to myself, if I get through 100 pages, I'll be happy. And I sent a copy to Andy Clark, the Sky Sports commentator.
Yeah.
And he sent me a back. He did loads of positive stuff. You know, really happy with it. And then he also said on the end, to beef it up a bit, I've always been interested in seeing what a fighter does day to day, and I think a fight diary would be a really interesting thing to do. So the second section of the book is a fight diary coming up to my last fight, and it'll show you where I thought I was with the Cardiff undercard, and then I get bumped up to the Sky card, and then I got bumped up to the main card, and then it talks about having to deal with the draw or loss, however you want to phrase it, afterwards as well. So, and speak about everything from my family life when I was a kid, how I make weight, diet, training, loads of different things, injuries, loads of different things in there. And I'm in the process of writing the next one now for like in about 5 years when I finish fighting. I'd like to write another version of it.
So is this kind of, you know, do you think that this might be something that you would look to do regularly after boxing? Like,
yeah, 100%. This is a novel I'd like to write. I've got the synopsis and stuff for it. I'm going to put a proposal together in the next 12 months or so, I think, send that off, see what comes of him. But yeah, I like writing anyway. I've got a weekly column in the local newspaper now as well, thanks to my agent, Tim. And yeah, it's going good at the minute. It's another thing I can concentrate on.
do you think it's important for fighters to have something else?
Yeah, 100%. That's why I've got my business as well. I've got, I've got to think about when I finish getting punched. You know, it only takes one punch. You know, what if I knack in my hands in my next fight? Can't do it again. You know, and that's what I'm building now. So when I come to maybe the harder fights or the pinnacle fights in my career, my business is self-sustaining, which is my aim by the end of the year. And then I can kick my feet up, relax, write my books, drinking pina coladas.
Sounds good. Sign me up. Sign me up to that life. So while we were chatting, people have been sending in questions, so I'm just going to go in and have a little look and go through them. Lee Eaton has said that you look very much overweight.
Oh, thanks, Lee. That's rich coming from Lee. No, man. I'm a professional. What are you talking about?
Lee would also like to know, who is the best manager in the world?
I don't know. Is it Richie Garner? No, it's Lee Eaton, mate. He's in the book as well. You got to buy a copy because he's in there helping me hold my trophy. Corey DPC has asked, when is your next fight and who with, and how will you prepare for it? I don't know who it's with yet. I'm hoping it's going to be the end of June, like I said earlier. Maybe the behind closed doors stuff. There's any number of opponents I'd like. You know, like I said, I just want titles, and I prepare for it best I can, doing a lot of cardio stuff. But thankfully, my brother's a really talented coach, and I can spend a bit of time with him. Staying 2 meters away, obviously.
Saying the regulated guidelines.
Yeah.
Emily, she asked this girl asks the same question every night. It's great. It's a really good question, but it's Emily McAllister, and she's asked, if you could quarantine with 5 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Quarantine with 5 people. Ali, I think, would have to be one. I'd love to meet them. J.K. Rowling, I'd love to meet her as well.
Interesting addition. Yeah, I'm into that. Yeah, I like that.
It'd be a weird party, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Who else would I like? Don't know. Someone like Tupac or something a bit
few
American.
Tunes.
Yeah. That's 3. Kenny Dalglish. Has to be Kenny Dalglish in there.
Love it.
And Bill Shankly.
Oh yeah, well, that's a good. See, someone asked me. I done a Q&A last week, and someone asked me, and I had the five, and then I went too deep on it, where I was thinking like, would they all get along? Like, would there be?
They all muckers at the end of it, or
Would the
they punch
yeah,
a
would the
swing in.
conversation at the dinner table be interesting? You know, like, will everyone like chip in and help clean, and all these different things. So mine are all up in the air. Um, let's go again. Sean McDermott has asked, love hearing about you writing. What are some of your favorite books?
Like I said, J.K. Rowling, I love the Harry Potters. They got me into reading at the start. I like the Casual Vacancy as well, which is one of her more grown up ones. Just the style of writing she does is great. I got hundreds of books in here, man. I like the Jack Ryan books. There's so many. I like the Muhammad. Actually, one of my favorites is got to be Muhammad Ali. One was like a collection of his poems and stuff. That's a brilliant read.
Very good. Okay, we'll take one more. Because now you're going on a run, so I wouldn't want to cut that run short.
Yeah, tell Lee I'm going on a run. Make sure he knows.
I'll let him know. Michael Smith has asked, who do you think is the biggest threat to you in your division?
Threat to me? No one's a threat to me. I'm a threat to them.
Yeah. Good answer. Right, we'll take one more, right? Simon Chevel, I think that is, 23 has asked, classic fights, what should I be watching?
Hagler Hearns every time. Hagler Hearns is like the greatest fight ever, because you can class it as like an amateur fight, so it only went on 3 rounds, and pro fight, so it's like the best. But if you're looking to be like style or whatever, man, you need to watch Ray Robinson or Lomachenko. Either of them, any performance, they are spectacular.
Do you watch fights in fight camp? Would you watch other classic styles and different things?
Definitely, yeah. My coach just tries to drill me Lomachenko, but God knows I try and copy him. I watch him mainly for motivation. Sometimes you're like, I need to watch more of it. I feel like I need to watch more of it, because if I watch like a Hagler, my head movement's usually better. If I watch like a Hearns, I'm trying to sit on my punches better. If I'm watching Lomachenko, my torso moves a lot better, and my footwork. So if I can find the time, I do try and watch like 1.5 hour a day or something. Just studying, man, and like I say, motivation.
Definitely.
And myself, got to see what I did wrong.
Yeah, well, do you find that hard? I had Jamie Conlon, your boss, actually, on here a week or so ago, and I was laughing because when I was putting up that he was coming on, I was like having my lunch and I was watching some of his old fights, and I tagged him in, like, obviously, the one fight he lost, and he put it up, and I was like, I only realized, and then I had to go back and get some of the ones he won and tag him in, and then he was like, I don't watch my fights, and I was like, really? And he was like, nope, do not watch them.
I find it hard to watch them. I do cringe a lot of times, because and I usually only get about 3 or 4 rounds, and I turn it off. But
are you cringing? Are you cringing because you're like, I should have done that there, or why did I do that there?
Both.
Or are you cringing about looking at yourself? Like, what is it?
I don't even find myself entertaining. I've had so many people tell me how entertaining I am. I've had a Fight of the Year award. I just do not find myself entertaining. It's so boring, but a bit of luck, no one else thinks that, and that's why they buy the tickets.
Yeah, well, that's it. We'll let you think what you want about yourself, as long as other people are like, no, we find you very entertaining.
Just fucking tune in and watch me. Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I won't keep you anymore. Head out on your run. Enjoy yourself. Great to chat. And hopefully we'll get to catch up when all the shows are back and your next fight's announced and all the rest.
Fantastic. Thanks, Lydia.
No problem, Kieran. Thanks, Emil. Talk to you soon. Bye.